Have you ever felt the world pause for you? One ordinary day, something appeared, so exact, so impossibly timed, that it cracked open your sense of what's real. A stranger's words echo the thought you just had. A song begins at the very second your mind starts to unravel. A number glows from the clock, and somehow, it feels like it's been waiting for you all along. Logic wants to sweep it aside, to keep your old story intact. But your intuition, it whispers, pay attention. And that whisper grows louder each time until you face the quiet question that changes everything. Are you noticing the pattern, or is the pattern noticing you? If the universe is chaos, why do synchronicities multiply when you're on the verge of change? Why do the signs appear precisely when you're about to shift, release, or become someone new? To reduce life to chance is to strip it of its poetry. But to sense that reality itself is conscious, responsive, alive, turns coincidences into communication. That's the first fracture in the old belief, the first glimpse through the veil. Ignoring these signs keeps you comfortable, yes, but also disconnected from a deeper conversation with existence itself. Your subconscious is always listening, scanning, choosing. It filters a billion fragments of data and highlights the few that vibrate with your inner frequency. What rises to your attention is not random, it's resonant. Perception doesn't scatter chaos, it reflects the signal you're sending. Yet here lies the riddle. If synchronicities mirror your inner world, why do they often carry wisdom beyond what you consciously know? Perhaps because consciousness is not confined to the mind. It is the field you move through, shaping itself around your awareness. Maybe you're not walking through a dead mechanism, but through a living fabric of meaning. Every time you call it just coincidence, you mute a message meant for you. The real shift begins when you flip the story. What if randomness is the illusion? What if order has been hiding in plain sight, and you were trained not to see it? That single thought cracks the autopilot. It shakes the programming just enough for curiosity to slip in. And curiosity is where transformation begins. Synchronicities aren't interruptions to life. They are life breaking through your numbness. They're not rare. They're constant, waiting for your perception to sharpen. The question isn't whether signs exist. The question is, are you willing to look? Once you start looking, the world rearranges itself around your attention. The same book crosses your path in different mouths. The same symbol follows you from dream to daylight. The same lesson whispers through different voices until you finally listen. Reality repeats itself until you respond. Most people dismiss what they can't explain, but explanation is not the same as significance. Once, even electricity was invisible nonsense. The unseen always arrives before the undeniable. Synchronicities may not be mapped by science yet, but they are mapped by experience. And the fact that you are hearing these words right now may itself be part of the pattern, a subtle reminder that you are not lost in chaos, but swimming in a sea of signals. The more you resist, the louder they become. The more you open, the more precise the timing feels. As if the universe is playing a secret symphony, with you as both the instrument and the listener. Each note, each repetition, draws you closer to resonance with your path. But don't mistake it for fate carved in stone. The puzzle is incomplete on purpose. You are given only enough light to take the next step. That missing piece, that gap, is what keeps you moving. It's the sacred space where free will and destiny meet. You are both the writer and the reader of your story, both the sender and the receiver of the signal. And the moment you accept that, randomness dissolves into alignment. You may not yet see what the signs are building toward, but you feel it, deep down, that the patterns were never random. They were waiting, tracing your steps, aligning with your awakening. And if that realization shakes you, know this: even science quietly has been circling this truth. At the quantum level, matter behaves like thought, a wave collapsing into form the instant it's observed. Awareness changes reality. Perhaps the same law that guides particles is the one guiding your path. What looks like coincidence may simply be consciousness, crystallizing possibility into perfectly timed events. Your brain is not a receiver of the world. It's a sculptor. From billions of impressions, it keeps only what matches your inner story. That's selective attention. That's why when you buy a new car, you suddenly see it everywhere. But here's the deeper twist. Selective attention is not merely filtering for things. It is filtering for meaning. The signs that catch your eye do so because they vibrate with something alive inside you. Your brain isn't just observing reality. It's wiring itself to match your frequency. You see what you are tuned to, and yet this explanation alone feels hollow. If it were only a mental trick, synchronicities would carry no pulse, no depth, like spotting shapes in drifting clouds. But when a true synchronicity lands, your body knows. It sparks through your skin, floods your chest, hums in your bones. Psychologists call it numinosity, the sense of sacred presence. The body does not fabricate that electricity. It's the signal of coherence between your inner rhythm and the wider field. You are not simply perceiving, you are participating. Quantum physics offers a reflection of this mystery. When two particles become entangled, they remain linked across space and time. Shift one and the other responds instantly, faster than light. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, but perhaps synchronicities are the human-scale echo of that principle. You change a thought, release an emotion, expand an intention, and reality adjusts itself in resonance. The sign that appears is not random. It's evidence of your entanglement with the field itself. Still, the question lingers. How does a private intention ripple outward into the fabric of the physical world? Long before science had language for it, spirituality did. Neville Goddard spoke of imagination as the creative power of the universe. That inner state precedes outer fact. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that coherence between heart and brain creates measurable electromagnetic order, a blend of elevated emotion and clear intention that shifts the quantum field. Physicist Amit Goswami describes consciousness as the ground of being, matter emerging from awareness, not the other way around. These are not metaphors. They are bridges between what we can measure and what we can feel. And yet the puzzle remains open. If synchronicities were only perception, why do they sometimes arrive before the events they foreshadow? How can numbers, symbols, or dreams announce what is coming before logic could? Science has no settled vocabulary for this, but physics is inching closer. Experiments in retrocausality suggest that choices in the present can ripple backward through time, altering what has already been. Time, it seems, does not run in a straight line. Synchronicities might be the shimmer left by consciousness brushing against events before they unfold. Smoke rising from the fire of nonlinear time. And this opens a deeper curiosity. If time bends, what does it mean to align with a timeline? Do you reach into the future and pull possibilities toward you? Or do those possibilities already exist, waiting for you to tune your frequency like a radio dial? Perhaps both are true. Either way, the revelation is the same. You are not a victim of coincidence. You are a participant in a multi-layered field of possibilities. Each synchronicity is a thread drawing you closer to the version of reality you are becoming. Think of how your GPS works. You set a destination, and even when you stray, the system keeps whispering, turn here, slow down, recalculate. Synchronicities are not the destination. They are the recalibrations, the subtle affirmations that you are locking onto a frequency. Ignore them and the path still unfolds, but with static and delay. Follow them and the way smooths out, more elegant, more improbable in its precision. Yet science alone cannot satisfy. It gives mechanism, not meaning. Meaning blooms only when you merge the scientific with the spiritual. When you see that each synchronicity is both neurological and mystical, your brain aligning with vibration as the universe aligns with intention. This is the paradox. It is both inside and outside, both psychological and cosmic. The truth lives in the tension between the two. To dismiss synchronicities as random is to amputate half of reality. The invisible threads remain whether you notice them or not. But once you do, life transforms. Chaos becomes choreography, noise becomes music, and what once felt accidental begins to glow with purpose. Still, one question remains unanswered. If synchronicities are a language, how do you learn to read them? And why do they gather more densely at the edges of transformation? Every culture has asked the same. Each one discovered that the universe speaks in symbols, yet few ever learn to listen. For some, the language arrives as numbers repeating like echoes through the day. For others, it's the sudden reappearance of an old friend, a mirror from the past returning at the exact moment they need to remember. And for others still, dreams and waking life begin to blur, symbols migrating between worlds as if to say that nothing is ever truly separate. What unites them all is the feeling, as though life itself is trying to have a conversation with you. Yet most people move through it like tourists in a foreign land, surrounded by a language they were never taught to understand. Consider, for instance, the moment you see 11:11 on a clock, not once, but again and again, always when your mind is silently asking a question it can't yet articulate. Rational thought calls it coincidence. Deep down, your body never responds to probability, it responds to resonance. You feel the pull because your inner world begins to hum in tune with something outside of you. Numbers, symbols, moments. They become shorthand for alignment, punctuation marks in an ongoing dialogue between your thoughts and the field itself. This is not coincidence, it is communication. And like every language, the more you speak it, the more fluent it becomes. Carl Jung, who first gave this phenomenon its name, understood that symbols are bridges between the conscious and the unconscious. A symbol does not explain, it suggests. It carries depth without demanding definition. That's why synchronicities so often arrive wrapped in symbolism. They are not meant to draw you a straight line. They are meant to invite you into a spiral, one that leads inward toward awareness. Each sign, each repetition, each meeting is the psyche's way of whispering, you are in conversation with something vast. The outer world is answering an inner question you barely knew you asked. And yet, another mystery opens. If synchronicities form a language, who is speaking? Is it your higher self, guiding from beyond perception? Is it the collective unconscious, a sea of archetypes moving through us all? Or is it the universe itself, deliberate and awake, threading meaning through your day? Perhaps it is all of them at once, different layers of one consciousness conversing with itself through you. That uncertainty is not a flaw. It is the heartbeat of the dialogue. A message too clear dies. A message wrapped in mystery keeps you alive within it. The mind craves closure, but synchronicities feed on curiosity. They offer you just enough to move forward, never enough to stop searching. Think about it. When you begin to notice patterns, you don't feel done. You feel called. You want to decode, to translate, to understand the hidden grammar beneath the signs. That hunger is part of the teaching. The universe never hands you a finished script. It gives you fragments, breadcrumbs scattered across your path. Seeing them is only the beginning. Interpreting them is the next step. Living what they reveal, that is the true initiation. The language of synchronicity is not academic. It is alchemical. It doesn't inform you. It transforms you. A story speaks it better than theory. A woman begins to see butterflies everywhere, in gardens, in paintings, on the pages of books, in gifts from friends. At first, she dismisses it as coincidence, but the pattern grows until it becomes impossible to ignore. Only later does she realize that the butterflies began appearing when she was quietly considering leaving a job that was draining her soul. The symbol didn't predict her decision, it affirmed it. It surrounded her with the energy of metamorphosis before she had the courage to act. That is the power of symbolic language. It doesn't command, it mirrors. It doesn't direct, it invites. And once she accepted the invitation, her transformation became inevitable. But be gentle with this language. It does not obey linear logic. It is poetic, layered, intuitive. If you expect signs to give you precise instructions, you will miss their music. They are not asking, what should you do? They are asking, who are you becoming? Synchronicities don't dictate action. They reveal alignment. That's why two people can witness the same event. One shrugs and moves on, while the other feels something shift forever. The difference is not in the event, but in the resonance it awakens. Language only lives for those who can hear it. Even the brain seems wired for this dance. Neuroscience tells us that pattern recognition is one of our oldest survival skills. Our ancestors read the stars, the seasons, the rustle of leaves, each pattern a message from the world. Today, that instinct has been hijacked by symbols of survival. Logos, alerts, notifications. Synchronicities slip past that noise. They interrupt the artificial patterns with something ancient, something that feels like the brain remembering its original purpose, to notice alignment with life itself. This isn't superstition, it's evolution, reawakened for consciousness. And still, one piece remains unfinished. If synchronicities are a language, then there must be grammar, rules, rhythm, a structure beneath the mystery. But these rules are not written in books. They are written inside you. Your personal history, your emotional tone, your archetypes. These are the syntax through which the universe speaks your name. The grammar of signs is intimate, not external. No one can hand you a dictionary for it. You have to learn the dialect of your own soul. To understand synchronicity is not to memorize meanings, it is to become fluent in yourself, to listen to your inner weather, to sense the rhythm of your timeline, to recognize the cadence of your transformation. And yet, when enough people dream in similar symbols, numbers, animals, recurring faces, we glimpse the collective alphabet. The patterns that move through all of us are the shared vocabulary of the field. But the way they punctuate your personal story will always be unique. That is why synchronicities are not evidence of a destiny written by another hand. They are proof that you are co-authoring reality in real time. They remind you that you are not wandering through chaos. You are in conversation with existence itself. The question is no longer, are synchronicities real? You already know they are. The deeper mystery is why they surge when your life begins to shift. Why the flood of signs when you approach a threshold. Why at the edge of change the field starts to shimmer with meaning. Notice it. The times when your world feels most unstable. A move, a breakup, a leap into the unknown. Those are the very moments when synchronicities multiply. Numbers repeat, dreams echo waking life. Conversations mirror private thoughts. It is as if the universe raises its volume to say, you are crossing over. Because that's exactly what's happening. When your vibration detaches from one version of reality and begins to anchor into another, the field reacts. Old patterns dissolve. New ones spark to life like lights appearing on a path just beginning to form. Reality is a spectrum of frequencies, each timeline vibrating with its own tone. You are not fixed within one. You are fluid, moving through them by the resonance of your state of being. Shift your belief, your emotion, your sense of identity, and the world rearranges to match. Synchronicities are the footprints of that rearrangement, evidence that the field is recalibrating around your new trajectory. They cluster because you are crossing thresholds, stepping into a frequency that has not yet stabilized. So the field floods you with guidance, with confirmation, with coherence. Physics gives us a metaphor. When a system transitions between states, it trembles before it settles. Energy releases, patterns oscillate, chaos precedes order. Think of water at the edge of boiling, the chaos of bubbles rising, colliding, until suddenly the transformation becomes smooth and continuous. Your consciousness behaves the same way. Before you settle into a new timeline, signs bubble up wildly, insisting, you are changing worlds. The surge of synchronicities is not random. It is the turbulence of realities colliding and then stabilizing into a new pattern. Ancient wisdom understood this long before physics did. Mystics, shamans, prophets, all spoke of thresholds marked by omens. They never dismissed the signs as noise. They knew that when life shakes and structures dissolve, the universe begins to speak louder. What modern language calls coincidence, they called alignment. They knew that walking between worlds requires guides, and synchronicities are those guides. They are not compasses pointing north. They point inward, toward the version of reality your energy is already touching. But here the curiosity gap opens again. If synchronicities multiply when you shift, how do you know which to trust? How do you separate projection from guidance, noise from message? The answer lives in the body. The signs that belong to your transformation are charged. they hum. You don't just notice them, you feel them. They arrive with precision, with timing so exact it slices through doubt. That electric resonance is the proof. Your body is the tuning fork confirming coherence. And this leads to the deeper truth. Synchronicities do not exist to impress you. They exist to transform you. They are not fireworks, they are milestones. Each one asking, are you willing to become the version of yourself this path requires? Ignore them, and your path grows heavy, static, full of delay. Follow them and it becomes luminous, fluid, alive. They multiply at thresholds because the stakes are higher. Your vibration is rewriting itself. Your choices ripple wider. The signs are not decoration, they are navigation. They are the guidance system of consciousness itself. Imagine standing at a crossroads. The old path feels safe, predictable, lined with patterns you already know. The new one glows faintly, trembling with uncertainty, but also with life. Synchronicities appear like torches along that unfamiliar road, whispering, this way, keep going, you are not lost. And each time you trust them, more torches ignite, lighting the next steps of your unfolding path. They multiply because you need them most when you are standing at the edge of the unknown. But here's the paradox. Signs can illuminate your path, yet they cannot walk it for you. They do not remove the leap. They only reveal that there is ground waiting on the other side. The signs mirror your courage. They don't replace it. They are proof of resonance, not a substitute for movement. You still have to step, still have to choose. The universe can echo your readiness, but it cannot act in your place. That is why synchronicities feel intoxicating. They remind you that your inner world and the outer cosmos are two mirrors endlessly reflecting each other. Pause for a moment. What symbols have been orbiting your days lately? What numbers, phrases, or coincidences have been chasing your attention? They are not ornaments, they are confirmations whispering, you're already shifting. Even when the destination is hidden, your trajectory is visible in the signals that surround you. The more you honor them, the louder they speak. The more you dismiss them, the quieter your intuition becomes. That is the balance point. Your power is not in collecting signs, but in embodying them. To live as if the alignment were already true. To act as though the timeline you desire is already beneath your feet. When you declare your alignment, the field rearranges to match it. Write it, speak it, feel it. I walk in alignment with my timeline. In that moment of declaration, the signal returns to the source that sent it. You. The multiplication of signs is not a cosmic accident. It is a necessary turbulence, a chorus announcing your entrance into coherence. The universe sings louder when you begin to listen. But what do you do with fragments of destiny, these incomplete glimpses that never reveal the whole picture? How do you hold the mystery when it refuses to resolve into certainty? Each synchronicity feels like a piece of something vast, a single tile from an unseen mosaic. This incompleteness is not a flaw. It is the design. The signs keep you moving, adjusting, growing. Imagine if every signal handed you the full map of your life. Mystery would vanish, tension would dissolve, and without tension, evolution would stop. The universe doesn't operate as a manual. It operates as a living puzzle. It gives you just enough clarity to take the next step, and never enough to make you stop searching. At first, the pieces seem random, scattered. You don't know where they fit. But with time, edges form, corners lock, patterns emerge. Your intuition sharpens through participation. Every connection builds a larger sense of order. The partial nature of the signs is what trains your perception. It is how you grow into the version of yourself capable of seeing the bigger pattern. Here lies the paradox. Though the puzzle is never finished, each piece feels complete when it arrives. A single repeating number can feel like the entire universe answering back. That moment of wholeness is what fuels your faith. And just when you believe you've decoded it, another symbol arrives to stretch your understanding wider. This cycle is endless, but never cruel. It is the rhythm of transformation, designed to keep you living inside the unfolding, not skipping ahead to the end. Science, too, whispers of this hidden order. In chaos theory, what looks random often conceals a fractal pattern. unpredictable in detail, yet shaped by invisible symmetry. The weather, the brain, the ecosystem, all follow this paradox of ordered chaos. Synchronicities are the personal experience of the same principle. Life appearing erratic, yet guided by an unseen coherence that reveals itself one fragment at a time. Each sign is a snapshot of that greater fractal, never the full image. And yes, it's addictive. The mind hungers for completion, while the universe withholds just enough to keep you moving forward. Ancient wisdom mirrors this truth. You are given your daily bread, not the bread for the year, not the bread for the lifetime, but just enough for today. Synchronicities are the daily bread of the soul, evidence that you are guided step by step, never overloaded by what you're not yet ready to see. The incompleteness of the pattern protects your freedom. If you saw the entire map, choice would lose its meaning. The mystery keeps your free will alive. That is the hidden grace. The universe never reveals everything because you are meant to co-create what comes next. And here is the interruption worth remembering. The signs were never designed to prove destiny. They were designed to invite participation. They were never meant to prove destiny. They were meant to shape you into the kind of being who can live it. Synchronicities don't answer the question, what will happen? They whisper a deeper one. Who am I becoming in response to this? That is the real alchemy, the transformation of awareness through participation. The fragments were never meant to give you certainty. They were meant to initiate you. The gaps are the classroom, the uncertainty, the teacher. Imagine a man who begins seeing feathers everywhere. At first, he dismisses them, mere coincidence, but they multiply on the sidewalk, in books, in his dreams. He begins to listen. The feathers speak to him of lightness, of surrender. So he loosens his grip on control, softens his need to direct every outcome. Months later, he realizes the feathers were never predicting a future event. They were preparing him for a new state of being. The signs were not forecasts, they were sculptors, reshaping his consciousness from within. This is the secret most people miss. The universe is not trying to inform your intellect. It is trying to evolve your awareness. Each fragment, each coincidence, is an invitation to become the kind of person who no longer needs to know, only to trust. And yet the ache remains, the longing to see the whole picture, to finally understand why. But what if the ache itself is the point? What if that hunger for completion is what keeps you aligned, awake, and moving? Without it, you would fall back asleep, lost in automation. The ache is sacred. It keeps you curious enough to keep becoming. So how do you live inside a puzzle that will never be finished? You stop demanding completion and start celebrating fragments. You realize that each synchronicity is enough for this moment. You let it change you without needing to decode the entire design. And when you do, something begins to align. The puzzle is incomplete, but your resonance becomes whole. The fragments are scattered, but your frequency is coherent. That is the posture of one who walks in trust. And from that posture, revelation dawns. The puzzle was never external. It was a mirror. The scattered pieces outside were only reflections of the unfinished places within. As you evolve, the pattern evolves. As you expand, new fragments appear. And your mosaic, the living artwork of your timeline, glows brighter, still unfinished, yet breathtaking in its beauty. So when the signs leave you restless, when the picture feels incomplete, remember, you are not meant to know everything. You are meant to know enough for the next step. And that is always enough. The unfinished puzzle isn't the obstacle to destiny, it is destiny. It is how the universe teaches trust, how it turns uncertainty into evolution. Because the final piece, the one that completes the pattern, will never be given. It must be lived. You are not solving the puzzle, you are becoming the missing piece. And by now you can feel it. Synchronicities are not accidents. They are codes, threads of a larger language woven into the fabric of existence. The question is no longer, are they real? The question is, will you live as one who notices them or as one who dismisses them? That choice defines everything. It is the difference between drifting blindly through a maze and walking consciously through a living map that updates itself at every turn. To live as a decoder of reality is to understand that meaning is not hidden out there. It is created in the space between your inner frequency and the outer field. Every time you honor a synchronicity, you refine your ability to read the language of alignment. Life becomes less about control and more about conversation. The universe whispers, you respond. You declare an intention. The field echoes back. Over time, this dialogue deepens into trust. The unknown stops feeling threatening and starts feeling alive. You no longer chase certainty, you begin to embody coherence, because alignment itself is the destination. The dance between signal and response is the path. Even neuroscience agrees. When the brain encounters novelty, something surprising yet meaningful, it enters a state of heightened neuroplasticity. In that moment, the mind rewires itself. Synchronicities are not just spiritual, they are biological catalysts, breaking the trance of routine, reawakening your capacity to perceive. Spiritually, this is no accident. The signs arrive to interrupt the old self, to make room for the new. Every time you pay attention, you are not just decoding reality, you are participating in its evolution. You are sculpting your consciousness into coherence, activating the timeline that already vibrates with your higher potential. But the journey doesn't end there. Living as a decoder means understanding that the field doesn't only speak to you, it speaks through you. Your choices, your clarity, your courage send ripples into the web, triggering synchronicities for others. You become both the reader and the message, the seeker and the sign. And that is the deeper invitation, to stop treating synchronicities as rare miracles and start treating them as the baseline of an awakened life. The field is always communicating. The only question is, are you listening? Because the truth is simple and stunning. Signs are not extraordinary, they are constant. What's rare is the human willingness to notice, to trust, and to live as proof that the universe is, and always has been, in conversation with you. This shift from rarity to constancy changes everything. It moves you from being a passive witness to becoming an active participant in the unfolding of your own timeline. And within that realization lies the most liberating truth of all. You are not simply watching timelines. You are aligning with them. Every thought, every emotional state, every declaration of alignment tunes you to one version of reality over another. Synchronicities aren't predictions of what will happen. They are reflections of what you are already resonating with. They are the mirrors of your becoming. To live as a decoder of reality is to take radical responsibility for your frequency. To stop asking, what does this mean? And start asking, what is this revealing about who I am right now? That is the threshold of mastery, the moment when life ceases to feel random and begins to feel orchestrated. Now imagine what would happen if more people lived this way. If entire communities became fluent in the dialogue of the field, people who recognized the language of signs, who celebrated the fragments, who chose to live in alignment rather than in fear. The ripple effect would be profound. Fear would give way to trust, isolation would dissolve into resonance, and life itself would no longer be endured, but decoded, lived as an ever-unfolding revelation. This is not utopia. It is the natural state of an awakened humanity, one that remembers that the universe is not random, but responsive. The field is not silent. It has been whispering all along, waiting for you to listen. So here is your invitation. Stop waiting for the perfect sign. Start living as the decoder. Notice what repeats, trust what resonates, embody what aligns. When you do, the puzzle of your life will not suddenly complete itself, but you will realize it never had to. The fragments are enough. The alignment is enough. You are enough. You are already walking the path you were meant to walk. The signs were never random. They were always leading you here, to this moment of remembrance. Now it is your turn to live as the decoder of your reality. Not someday, not when the next sign arrives. Now, because the field is still speaking, and you finally are ready to answer.